Rod, did you see anything?
Nothing. But it was a car, all right, Max, going like blazes, too. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see anything.
Look, Rod, there can't be any such thing as an invisible automobile. And yet...
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Adventures of Max Chandler, featuring Carl Swenson in the role of the famous broadcaster and reporter, whose assignments bring him into constant conflict with...
The Whisper Man.
In the city of Geneva in Switzerland, Linda Jones, official photographer for Globe magazine, is waiting in the restaurant at the railroad station for Max Chandler and his assistant, Rod Buchanan, who are arriving in the Constantinople Express with plans for a 2-week vacation.
Linda Jones.
What?
Well, this is wonderful.
Oh, hello.
Linda, what on earth are you doing here in Geneva? You should have let me know you were coming.
I don't quite know what this is all about, but I haven't the faintest idea who you are.
I've got to catch up on what you've been doing since you left the Far East. Saw some of your pictures in Globe. Come on, let's get out of here, Linda. There's so much noise you can't hear yourself think.
Now, look, this has gone far enough.
I've just got to know what's been happening to you. You feel that gun against your ribs, Miss Jones?
What is this?
There's a silencer on it, Miss Jones. I can leave you dead here on the floor, or you can walk out with me without making a fuss.
I don't understand what you want.
Yeah, we've got a lot to catch up on, darling. Come on, time's a waste.
I don't see Linda anywhere. Do you, Ron?
Well, being the dame, she's probably late.
Yeah, but she wired that she'd meet the train.
What are you going to do? Spend the rest of your life here in the depot, or should we go on to the hotel?
Huh? Yeah, I suppose you might as well go to the hotel. Probably something connected with her job held her up.
You'll learn, brother. You'll learn.
Learn what?
I keep telling you, you can't depend on dames.
Yes, monsieur.
My name is Max Chandler.
I know that, monsieur. We are very honored to have you staying here at our hotel. We have always listened to your broadcast here in Geneva.
Thank you. I'm trying to locate a friend of mine who's staying here, Miss Linda Jones.
Ah, yes. The American lady with the camera.
Well, she was supposed to meet our train when we got in, and that was nearly 3 hours ago, and we haven't heard from her. Are you sure that there wasn't any message for me?
It would have been in your mailbox, monsieur.
No, there wasn't anything out at the desk.
I'm sorry, monsieur.
Look, I don't want to sound like an old maid, but I'm worried about Linda. Now, she doesn't answer the phone in her room, but it's possible that she might be there, ill or something.
It is to be hoped that it is not so, monsieur.
Now, I'd like you to get your master key and come upstairs with me.
Ah, bon, that would be strictly against the regulations, monsieur.
I'll take that responsibility.
Well,
I promise you, Miss Jones won't make any complaint about it.
very well, monsieur. Only I'm quite certain there can be nothing wrong. This is the room, monsieur. Numero 19.
Well, open the door, please.
Oui. Mademoiselle Jones?
Holy smoke, look at that.
What do you... But, Monsieur Chandler, I don't understand.
Why, somebody's turned this place upside down. Her clothes, photographic stuff. The place is torn to pieces.
It's impossible, monsieur.
It isn't impossible. It's happened. Look, they've even slit open the backs of your overstuffed chairs.
But, Monsieur Chandler,
You better get the police at once. I have a call to make.
At once, monsieur. Quelle affaire?
Hello. Get me room 11, please. Hello, Rod. Come down the hall to Linda's room. It's number 19. No, she isn't here.
You're making this a lot more difficult for both of us than you need to, Miss Jones. Now, sit down over there.
I'm going to make this so difficult for you. Before you're through, you'll wish you'd never seen me. Are you going to explain this outrage or not?
Perhaps I'd better begin by telling you that you can call me Dick. I thought I played the role of an old American friend back at the station very well, didn't you?
So help me.
You see,
This is...
I was educated in America.
I don't care anything about your education.
You know, you're very pretty.
Get away from me.
You might just as well take it easy. Somebody here wants to see you, that's all. Cigarette?
No, thank you.
Don't mind if I do.
Do you mind telling me where we are?
Do you think we'd have had the shades pulled down in the car when we brought you out here if we wanted you to know, Miss Jones?
Look, I don't know how the Swiss law looks on kidnapping, but I promise you...
Don't make promises you can't keep, Miss Jones. Oh, I think your interview is about to begin. Here she is, Dr. Brenner.
So, this is Miss Jones. You can leave us alone, Rankle.
Look out for her, Dr. Brenner. She's something of a spitfire. Bit my thumb clear through to the bone coming out in the car.
You'll find iodine in the laboratory. Now leave us.
Better watch out for her, all the same.
I think we'll get along together.
I don't know who you are, Dr. Brenner, and I don't know why you brought me here. But you realize, don't you?
I'm not concerned with anything but the realities of the situation, Miss Jones. You're here, and we are going to talk. When something comes of that talk, we'll deal with that reality.
This whole thing is insane. I don't know anything about you. What have we to talk about?
You are a photographer, Miss Jones.
That's right.
During the last week, you have been taking pictures of the Swiss countryside. An assignment from your magazine, I suppose.
Yes, that's an assignment.
Well, the problem is a very simple one. I want the pictures you have been taking.
Why on earth do you...
All you have to do, Miss Jones, is to tell me where those pictures are. And when I say pictures, I mean any prints you've made and the negatives.
What possible value can those pictures have for you?
Let me point out to you that those pictures are so important to me that I have searched your room and have risked kidnapping you. I like to get out of this without any further complications. Just tell me where they are, and then you are perfectly free. You can go on taking pictures to your heart's content.
What particular films do you want?
I want all the films you have been taking since you came to Geneva.
Those films are my job. If there's one particular one you want...
My dear Miss Jones, if I were to tell you which one I wanted, you might start trying to guess why I want it.
And suppose I did.
Then, Miss Jones, you would not be taken back to town and allowed to go free. Let me make this clear. Turn over the films to me. Ask no questions. And there will be nothing for you to worry about.
I'm afraid you're going to have to be a little more explicit, Dr. Brenner. Those films technically belong to my magazine, not to me.
Well, the minute you're free, you can go on taking the same pictures over again if you like.
This is crazy. You mean to say you've no objection to my taking exactly the same pictures again?
None.
I simply don't get it.
Don't try, Miss Jones. Just tell me where the films are.
Does this business have anything to do with Max Chandler, Dr. Brenner?
Chandler? Who is Max Chandler?
You don't know.
Should I? Come, Miss Jones. Where are the films?
I don't think I'm going to tell you, Doctor.
That's foolish, very foolish.
You see, Dr. Brenner, it's fairly obvious that you and your friend, Mr. Rankle, are involved in something criminal.
Is it?
Otherwise, you wouldn't go to the lengths you have to get the films. Without knowing it, I must have taken a picture of something that would give you away.
I warned you, Miss Jones, that if you happened to guess right, your position would become much more dangerous.
I think I'm already convinced of that.
I'm trying to use reason in dealing with you, Miss Jones. But after a little while, I'm afraid I may have to use force. Think about it. And, by the way, you'll find that there's no way out of this room, Miss Jones. And I promise you that screaming or creating any kind of disturbance won't attract attention.
Still no word from the young lady, Monsieur Chandler?
No, not a thing.
The Swiss police are very thorough, monsieur.
They're thorough, all right, but they seem to take their time about it.
Look here, Mr. I don't think I got your name before.
Lefebvre, monsieur.
Are you a native of Geneva, Lefebvre?
Yes, monsieur. I've lived here all my life.
Well, here, will you look at this sketch? I found it in the wastebasket in Miss Jones' room. You recognize this house?
Voyons. Well, I can't say that I do, monsieur. There are many houses in this neighborhood with cupolas on the roofs. It could be one of many houses.
Uh-huh. Well, thanks, Monsieur Lefebvre. That doesn't help much. Let's go, Rod.
I'm sorry not to be of more help to you, monsieur.
Oh, that's all right. Thanks anyway.
What's the idea of all the questions about this sketch, Max?
Well, we've got to find some kind of a starting point for a search, Rod. Now, nobody here at the hotel remembers seeing Linda since breakfast.
Well, there's no reason why they should pay any particular attention to her, is there?
Listen, Rod, Linda's room had been straightened up by the maid. Now, the manager assured us of that. And you'd expect the waste paper basket to be empty.
So what?
So I assumed that Linda came back to her room sometime during the day and threw those sketches away.
More likely the guy who tore the place apart did it.
Well, that could be, Rod, but we got to grab hold of any straw we can find. If Linda was sketching this morning, maybe somebody saw her.
How are you going to find a house with a doodad on the roof?
We're going to hire a car and do a little touring of the countryside. Go ahead, Rod, you first.
Taxi, sir?
Okay.
Where to, sir?
Say, do you know the countryside around here pretty well, driver?
Like the back of my hand, sir.
Well, here, will you take a look at this?
You recognize it? Looks like a lot of houses on the outskirts of town, sir.
Well, I want to find that particular house with that particular shed in back. You think we have any chance of finding it?
We can only try, sir.
Okay, let's get going.
That looks like it, sir.
Now, slow down.
No shed back of that one, Max.
That's not it. Keep going.
Don't look like there was a break coming our way, Max. We must have covered 50 miles back and forth.
Well, it has to be somewhere. Linda sketched it.
Maybe she invented it.
Say, how about it, driver? Any more possibilities?
There's this one back road, sir. If we don't find it there, I don't know what to say.
Well, let's try it.
Hey, Max, look over there.
Slow down, driver. That's it, Rod. The shed. Even the car standing in front of it. All right, driver. Pull up in front of that house, will you? Wait for us, driver.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do?
Somebody here may have noticed Linda sketching.
Uh-huh. Not much sign of life around here, Max.
Well, there must be somebody home. There's a car there. Try it again, Ron.
You'd have to be stone deaf not to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm sorry to bother you. I'm looking for a friend who seems to be missing.
Oh,
My name is Max Chandler.
well,
Maybe you don't have a radio out in this neck of the woods, huh?
I'm sorry. I am a doctor, Dr. Brenner. I don't have much time to listen to the radio.
Well, the point is, Dr. Brenner, a young lady I know has disappeared. And we found these sketches in her room, which are obviously of your house.
Oh, it's really rather good. Huh? It certainly is a sketch of this house, isn't it?
Well, we thought that perhaps you might have seen her sketching. And we have reason to think that it might have been early this morning.
I'm afraid not. You see, I start out on my rounds quite early.
Oh, I see. Well, I was hoping...
But why do you think your friend is missing? Perhaps she's away visiting friends or something.
Well, I just got in from Constantinople this afternoon. My friend was supposed to meet the train, and she didn't. And when we got to the hotel, we discovered that someone had searched her room. Looks as though she were in some kind of trouble.
I can see why you're disturbed, but I'm afraid there's nothing I can do.
I see.
Hey, what was that?
I'm afraid I must excuse myself, gentlemen. There's a patient in the surgery. Abscess of the ear. Very painful.
Yes, thank you anyway, Dr. Brenner. I'm sorry we took you away from your patient. Good evening.
Good evening.
Boy, that scream ran up and down my back like an icicle.
Say, that's a funny thing, Rod. You'd think a doctor would have someone to answer the door while he's treating a patient, wouldn't you? Or else that the door would be open.
The more I travel, the more I figure out that people do things screwy every place except at home.
Yeah. I wonder if there's some place around here where we can find a telephone.
Yeah, probably.
I'd like to phone the hotel just on the chance there may be some news of Linda. Say, driver, Is there a public phone anywhere around here?
There's a small inn about a mile down the road, sir.
You know, Ron, it sounded as though someone stopped that patient of Dr. Brenner's from screaming.
Well, maybe he's got a nurse or an assistant. All I can say is the sound of it gave me butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah, me too, Ron. Well, I guess it's just that we both got a case of frazzled nerves over Linda. Come on.
What the devil is wrong with you, Wrangler? Could have heard that scream all the way into town.
I don't know how she got that adhesive tape loose from the mouth, Dr. Brenner. Was Chandler suspicious?
I don't think so. At least he went away.
Well, what did you tell him?
I told him I had a patient with an abscessed ear. He seemed to accept the explanation.
That was a little too close for comfort.
Take the adhesive tape off her mouth, Wrangler. We can't delay this thing any longer.
All right, Doctor. If you'll hold still, Miss Jones, it won't hurt while I pull it loose.
That was Max. You said you didn't know who he was, and yet...
I know who he is, Miss Jones. It seems that we were stupid, Wrangler.
Huh?
In addition to photographs, Miss Jones has made sketches of the house. Chandler found them in the Wegstrasse.
He was right here, right outside the door. I heard his voice.
I don't think he'll be back, Miss Jones, but I'm not going to risk it. Your time has run out. Now, where are those films?
You sent Max away. You sent him away, and he was right there at the door. Do you really think I'd ever tell you what you want to know?
Oh, yes, I think you'll tell me.
You can't let me go free now. You know that. Max has located the house. You know that the minute I see
That's
him...
quite right, Miss Jones. But if you'll answer my question and not make too much trouble, perhaps in a week or
Am
10
I
days...
supposed to believe you?
Well, I'll tell you how it is, Miss Jones. It's not going to matter very shortly whether you believe me or not.
Well, if there's any news at all, call me at this number I've just given you. That's right. Goodbye.
No news?
Nope. Linda hasn't called the hotel. The police haven't found any kind of a lead.
Begins to look bad, Max. Linda'd have called in long ago if she could. What next? Do we go back to town?
Yeah, I suppose we ought to, Rod, but for some reason I've got a great resistance to leaving this place.
Why, Max?
Well, I hate hunches. I feel like a sucker when I follow one.
What's a hunch?
Well, there's something about that doctor, Rod. I ought to accept his story about the patient with the abscessed ear. There isn't any reason to doubt it. And yet...
Well, what do you want to do?
Pay off the taxi driver, Rod. Then after we've had supper, we might walk back down the road to the doctor's house.
What do we do when we get there?
How do I know? I just have this crazy feeling about him.
That light off there must be in the doctor's house.
Yeah.
It's the blackest night I ever saw. No stars, no moon. Boy, the wind off these snow-capped mountains bites right through you.
Certainly can't see anything from here, except that light in the window.
Well, what do we do now?
Maybe I'm nuts, Rod. Maybe we ought to go back to the inn and go to bed.
Well, I sure wouldn't complain about crawling under one of those nice thick eider-downs.
Okay, let's start back.
You suppose there's another road around here we didn't notice, Max? That car sounds awful close, but I don't see any headlights.
Neither do I.
Run, jump! That car's right here! Holy smoke, Max. That thing nearly run us down.
Rod, did you see anything?
Nothing. But it was a car, all right, going like blazes. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see anything.
Look, Rod, there can't be any such thing as an invisible automobile, and yet...
There was dust, and I could smell the fumes from the exhaust.
Guy couldn't possibly drive a car on this road without lights.
Well, he did.
You know, Rod, that car came from the direction of the doctor's house. We could hear it start.
Well, it beats me. It couldn't happen, but it did. So let's get going.
No, Rod, I'm not going back to the inn now. Maybe that guy will come back.
It's my bet if we walk a couple of 100 yards down the road, we'll find him wrapped around a tree.
Nope, I don't think so, Rod. I got a feeling he's going to come back.
Another hunch?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rod.
Okay. Play it your way. Look, Max, I'm frozen right clean through to my backbone. We've been waiting here 2 hours.
Yeah, I know.
couldn't we risk just one cigarette, Max?
If anyone's on the lookout, he'd spot it right away.
Boy, I always knew it was a mistake to leave home. The day I got mixed up in this crazy stuff with you...
Listen, Rod.
There's a car coming, all right.
See any headlights?
No.
Get back off the road, Rod.
With pleasure, and I'm not kidding. It's that same guy. No lights. How can he drive in the pitch dark?
Listen.
You were right, Max. The car went to the doctor's house.
All right, let's go. I want to see that automobile.
I'd kind of like to see it myself, just to be sure I'm not having bad dreams. Gee, it's a wonder we haven't broken our necks.
The car ought to be in the shed. It's off to the right here somewhere. Here it is.
Yeah. Boy, that radiator's hot as a frying pan. Max, the guy that drove that car must have had cat's eyes.
I think so. Stand over here, Rod. I want to snap on my cigarette lighter. Here, get between me and the house.
Okay. Hey, Max, that's crazy. The headlights are painted over black. You couldn't see any light from them even if they were turned on.
Stay where you are, Rod. I'm going to get in the car and turn on the lights. See anything, Rod?
No, nothing happened, Max.
Come around here and get in the car. The other side, Rod.
Max, it's bright daylight. You better turn those lights off or they'll see them from the house.
I haven't touched the lights, Rod, since you were standing in front of the car.
But you must have. You can see plain as day.
Listen, Rod, I've heard about this before. The Germans used it during the war to keep their transport rolling in spite of Allied planes. They called it black light.
I don't get it. How's it work?
Those headlights that look as though they were painted are actually specially prepared glass. Now, this windshield is also specially prepared glass. You can't see any light from those headlamps unless you're looking through the windshield glass.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere about something like this for taking the glare out of headlights back home.
Yeah, that's the same principle. Now, we couldn't see any light from that car when it passed us on the road, but the driver could see perfectly.
What's the gag? He's not hiding from any bombers now.
Not bombers, no, but something else.
What?
That's what we're going to find out, Rod.
Max, somebody coming from the house.
Quick, get out of the car, down behind it. And, hey, don't close the door.
Max, the guy's unscrewing that black glass from the headlamps.
Yeah. They wouldn't want them to notice it in the daylight. That's the guy that we've got to talk to, Rod.
You take him from this side. I'll go around the other way.
Now, for Pete's sake, be quiet about it, Rod.
All right, brother, now start talking.
You're Max Chandler, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Max Chandler.
So Dr. Brenner didn't fool you?
Where's Linda Jones?
Oh, you know about that, too?
Why, you dirty rat, so you have got her, huh?
Where is she?
Look, suppose I help you. Suppose I tell you what the score is. Will you give me a break? That's all I ask. Just give me a break if I help you.
We'll give you a break if you don't help us, bud. Right in the middle of your back.
Miss Jones is in that house, isn't she?
Yeah, but look.
Where? What room?
Well, by now, she's in the doctor's waiting room.
Where's Brenner?
Well, he's in the laboratory now, but in a minute he'll start to work on her again.
What's your name?
Rankle. Dick Rankle. I'm Dr. Brenner's assistant. But I swear, I was forced into this.
Rankle? So help me, if anything has happened to Linda, if you and Brenner have done anything to her...
She's still all right, huh? I promise you, but Brenner's losing his patience. She won't talk. She won't tell him what he wants to know.
What's he want to know?
He just wants the film she used for taking pictures around here. If she hadn't been so stubborn, if she just told him, she could have gone free.
Pictures of what?
Look, you got to promise to give me a break if I tell you.
We promised you a break, brother, and here it comes if you don't...
I don't think he has to tell us, Ron. Linda probably took a picture of this house that showed the car. Those black glass headlights hadn't been removed. Is that right, Rankle?
Yeah. I forgot about them the other day. I left them after daylight.
What are you and Brenner using this car for at night?
I've already told you more than I should. If you'd only promise me to...
Keep talking, brother.
All right, I'll tell you.
Make it fast.
Brenner's a brilliant scientist.
German, of course.
Yeah. Before the end of the war, Brenner got quantities of scientific equipment out of Germany and catched them here. He was working on atomic energy.
Go on.
Well, now he's planning to set up a laboratory in a place where he can work safely without being spied on. We've been moving the equipment at night.
And some people think there's no danger of another world war. All right, Rankle. Which door do we go in to get to the waiting room where Linda is?
Side door. I left it unlatched when I came out. If Brenner hears you, he'll kill you.
He'll think it's you coming back, Rankle. Tie this guy up, Rod. I want him here when we come out.
Tie him up?
Yeah, hurry.
But, Max, there isn't anything here.
Come on, hurry up, will you?
Oh, well, I guess this'll have to do. Oh! Rod, what the... Well, here, keep that way, Max. There wasn't anything to tie him up with.
There's a light showing under the bottom of that door at the end of the hall.
It must be either the waiting room or the laboratory.
Come on. All right, Rod. I'm going to open the door. Be ready for anything. Linda!
Max! Oh, Max.
Quiet, darling. Where's Brenner?
In the next room. It's a laboratory, I think.
Linda, are you all right?
Max, I've been so scared I couldn't hold out much longer. I don't know why he wanted the darn films. I don't know why I didn't tell him in the first
But
place.
never mind that now. I can explain it later. Has he hurt you?
Look at the
No.
wrists, Max. They're all bruised. That jerk must...
No, it's all right, Max. It's really nothing. I just want to get out of here, that's all.
Well, we're going to take you out. But first, I want Brenner.
I could hear you talking when you were here early this afternoon. I tried to scream.
Yeah,
but-
well, we heard you and went away like a couple of dopes.
He said he had a patient in here that was sick, and we fell for it.
Rod, take Linda out the way we came in. I'm going in to get Brenner.
Well, two can live as cheap as one. I'm going
You're
with you.
staying with Linda, just in case it doesn't come out right. I won't be long.
Max, please.
Chandler.
I've come to get you, Dr. Brenner. The authorities are going to be very interested in your operations here.
So, that's the way it is.
Rod, what happened?
If that's Brenner coming out of there...
Max! Max!
It's all right, darling. It's all over. You can pour me a double one, Rod, and I won't be annoyed.
You're the boss.
Say, Linda, there's one thing that I still don't know. Where are those films?
I took them to a place here in town to be developed. Dr. Brenner didn't have any chance of getting them without an okay from me.
You know, Max, the people back home ought to be put wise to what these rats are cooking up over here.
Well, we're going to have a chance to tell them, Rod. That telegram that was waiting for me at the desk was orders to come home.
Oh, boy. At last there's a decent cup of coffee in sight. And maybe a little peace and quiet.
You're a knob to Miss Rod. Peace and quiet don't seem to go together with this guy.
Tonight's program was written by Judson Phillips and Blake Cabot, produced by Dan Seymour, and directed by Tony Leader. Carl Swenson was Max Chandler, and the music was by Chet Kingsbury. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.